Did Robert Whittaker defeated Adesanya in their rematch? Was it a farce? Was it the bad judging? Was the bad calling by the commentary? Well, let's see. First of all, it was a great match. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't amazing, but it was a good match. There was a lot that was happening that a lot of people missed. Robert Whittaker did a lot of good adjustments. He manages to take down Adesanya on multiple occasions, which was amazing, even though he didn't keep him there. That itself scored him a lot of points. However, Adesanya did what he does best. He controls the distance, he takes your legs apart, and he just waits for you to engage and just counter punches. And you could see that every time Robert Whittaker came in, Adesanya was just waiting with the left check hook. He was just waiting for it, because that's what won him the first fight. And that's what happened. But Robert Whittaker did really good because he changed a lot of times. He started throwing the double jab, and then he threw the triple jab. So that was really good adjustments by Robert Whittaker. A lot of people say that he lost clearly, but I believe this fight was much closer than people think. And just because you are fighting on the back leg and you are not controlling the middle of the octagon should not be the reason that you should lose points. Let's be real. I think it plays a lot into the eye of a judge when someone controls the distance and controls the octagon. However, that itself should not score points. If that was the case, Floyd Mayweather wouldn't be 50-0 and he would be like 34-16, you know? So there should be more emphasis on if you're getting actually punched rather than just controlling the pace or the center of the octagon. And also there should be emphasis on the power, on the takedowns. Of course, the judging and the scoring has issues. The judges in boxing has been corrupted and terrible for several years. The judges in the UFC were terrible for several fights. However, this fight should have been scored a little bit closer. And let me tell you why. Because Robert Whittaker, even though he fought on the back leg for most of the fight, he was snapping Adesanya's head with those jabs. Right? So now how do you score it? Do you score it based on a power? Which should be, of course, the power punches, if they land, should have more value than just light jabs. But then what do you do with the leg kicks? Because a lot of those leg kicks were really hard by Adesanya, but he threw also a lot of light kicks. So do those light kicks count? Or do they put big emphasis on it when scoring? Because I'm not sure about this yet. Because Robert Whittaker was snapping Adesanya's head a lot of times and he took a lot of takedowns. So that itself should score a lot of points. Even though he didn't control Adesanya on the ground a lot, he still managed to score a takedown. And takedown should be somewhere a little bit of an area of being knocked down. So the judges got it almost right, but it should have been much closer. And also it was one of those matches that I think the commentary was a little bit not good. But let's be honest. I love when the ex-fighters or retired fighters do commentary because they understand the game. They know what's happening. They know what the fighters are doing. And they can provide a very good feedback and commentary when it's happening. However, their big issue is that they are fighters. So they are biased. They are biased and they are emotional. You know, you can see that John Anik is basically on point 24/7. So is Joe Rogan. But everybody besides them is just biased and emotional. And you can see that in a lot of occasions. We can clearly remember when Daniel Cormier was commentating Adesanya versus Blachowicz. And he tried to give points to Adesanya by doing feints. Feints don't win you a fight. Hello, it's a feint. Of course, you can see that feints do a lot in a high-level fight. However, the emphasis they have been putting on it during the commentary, I mean, if I'm a judge and I'm not sure what I'm doing and I just overhear, whoa, whoa, every time Adesanya does a feint, then I might be a little bit swayed because I'm also an emotional human being to give him maybe points for something that doesn't happen. You know? So every time the commentary goes, whoa, over something that's not really important, it can send bad vibes especially for everyone who is listening. remember when Dominic Cruz basically said that Conor McGregor was trying to gas Khabib out by getting smashed? Like, that's how the commentary gets ridiculous sometimes. And Michael Bisping was a target for the commentary for this fight because he was just saying one-sided things for Adesanya, how impressed it was. And I don't want to critique these commentators because, first of all, we are all emotional human beings and we are all biased. They shouldn't be as biased as commentators, but also they are not commentators as their main profession. Their main profession is fighters, you know. So just them being able to switch to commentary is amazing, and I appreciate it a lot. But there have to be a little bit of professional improvements, you know. Similarly, as the new fighters who get high stature, for example, in NFL, they get a lot of coaching just how to present themselves in front of the media and what to do and what not to do. So I believe these ex-fighters who go into the commentary should get much more coaching on a sense how to navigate the fight for the fans. Because if I was watching the fight and I had no idea what was happening and I would only listen to the commentary, I would think that Adesanya basically won 50-45, even though that clearly wasn't the case. And Robert Whittaker won some rounds. You know, you could even make a case that he won the third, fourth, and fifth round. You could make that case because it was a very close fight. But the commentary made it look like it wasn't close at all. And I think it's something that the UFC should work on and should improve. I'm very sad for Robert Whittaker because he showed some improvements, but I also felt that he did not do enough. I also believe that if you have to defeat the champion, you have to defeat them in a way that people cannot argue with it, you know. That's what should happen. I believe that they should meet again in their third fight. I believe that Robert Whittaker can do improvements. I believe that Adesanya can still work on his takedown defense, even though it's top notch. However, what is next for both of them? I believe that Robert Whittaker should take some time off. He put a lot into these fights, and I believe he should take maybe half a year rest and just fight someone who is next in line. Maybe fight Derek Brunson. That'll be an interesting fight. And for Adesanya, I think he's gonna fight Jared Cannonier. That's the fight that will make sense. Jared Cannonier just defeated Derek Brunson by an impressive KO, and it's the only fighter in the top 5 who hasn't fought Adesanya yet. So there will be fresh fight. And then we'll maybe see the Usman's case, that Adesanya will be just lapping the division and just doing the rematches and just going again against everyone. So what do you guys think? Was the commentary biased? Did Adesanya win in impressive fashion, or was it much closer than everybody else thinks? Write down in the comment below, and I will see you next one.